Finally, I have everything that I need. Thanks to that mad poet, I have the Necronomicon and a destination, finally, to locate the forgotten city of Neruzavin. This journey will be a long one, surely across land and seas both. But after all the effort that has been put forth, after everything I have attempted over the last few years, this is the victory lap. I will be denied no longer. The black stars beckon, and I will find them. I am Count Hasserton Lowls IV, and when I am done here, no academics throughout the inner seas will forget this name. Somewhere, deep within these sands, I will build history.
Nothing can ever be simple.
Correct.
Did we get it? Nothing can ever be simple. Even after the incredible adventures that sent us to all corners of the dreamlands to collect this list of gifts for the mad poet, when we returned back to the caravanserai where we first walked to this plane, we couldn't simply give them back to the King of Yellow. We couldn't just be taken to meet the mad poets and finally see the end of this. No, nothing can ever be that simple. The King of Yellow has been taken, whisked away to a distant prison in the Dreamlands. And without his help, you have no way of locating the poet. No way of finding the man who facilitated the ritual that sacrificed your memories, Cammy's memories, Easy's memories, Trey's memories, everything you remember about your lives before Lowls. Your lives with Lowls, even. What you had done with this cult in Thrushmoor. The good news is that at least we know where he's gone. As we left off on our last episode, we were here atop the crumbling wing of this caravanserai before a massive orange-winged beast. A two-legged, purple-scaled dragon, perched with a huge carriage mounted upon its back. And we had convinced this creature to bear us away to the moon. And so here we are. The four of us climbing aboard these open-air benches with this pinstriped cloth canopy overhead, supported by these gilded metal beams. A very regal display, but at the end of the day, just a couple of benches on the back of a strange drake, flying to the moon, seeming a little bit almost asinine, and yet here we are. You had met another creature up here, many of you seeing it for the first time. One of you more than happy, I'm sure, to never see again this strange four-armed eyeball, this sphere of celestial matter that had been stalking Reginald through this realm out of time. all of you were forced to face and confront it, and you managed to bring it down. No one around you, this dragon included, seemed to really notice, other than the fact that you somehow jumped from one position to another in what would have appeared to an outside observer as an instant. But there's really not a moment to stop and let that sink in, to consider what has happened. Not until you're already on the back of this drake. A Shantak perched down on its 2 legs, wings spread massively wide, as it flaps down with an incredible force, thrusting off of this stone building and shooting like a rocket up into the air. The force pushes the 4 of you back into these padded seats, holding you solidly against the cushioned chairs as the sands of the Dreamlands desert fall away beneath you. It's difficult almost even to breathe, just from the sheer force of the launch. And as a matter of fact, I need everybody to make me a fortitude save really quick.
Okay.
I like rolling dice.
Great. After you, good sir. Aha.
37.
Is there a possibility of falling off? Is that what this is?
We don't know.
25.
You don't feel like you're falling off. You feel like you're pretty well. Falling off would be a challenge.
Okay.
You are so, like, the force of this launch pushing you down and back into the chair. You feel the skin of your face pulling back.
I'm sure this is
from
whether we can breathe or if
the
we're gonna
sheer
throw up.
G's of this launch. This dragon is taking off with enough force to break away from the Dreamlands itself. Not just from the ground, but from even the sky. Taking off into the stars at 37.
25.
The 25.
25.
A 25! Woo! MD, you feel the world rush. The blood shooting through your body. Again, pushed back into the seat here. A sensation none of you have ever really experienced before. I mean, you've been thrown around in battle, really, but these are brief moments. It's not this extended exposure to this incredible force. As you look to your left and then force your head and look to your right, you see all 3 of your allies here unconscious. Heads lolling back against the bench. You, the only one who has managed to stay cognizant.
A heck of a roller coaster.
Please tell me I'm going in and out like.
That's what you so desired.
Yeah. That's great.
I'm just settling for a nap, you know.
His tongue is just
sleep,
lolling
gotta
out of
sleep.
sight of himself like a dog, just flapping. He's got the long ghoul tongue forked at the end, just
It's like a long string of drool that's like going all the way.
just shooting like a ribbon out the back of this thing. Marcus is never looked more like a corpse. Until all at once, that feeling suddenly stops. Finally able to pull yourself up a little bit from the seat, you can kind of look around, and you can see the desert is so far down beneath you in just these mere moments that you can't even see the building that you had left. It's just a featureless beige tapestry as far as you can see either direction until it meets the black horizon of the night sky. You feel oddly almost weightless now, though you sense that speed is still there. But the rush, that incredible force, that acceleration, the wind in your face is all suddenly very gone. As you look to your sides, you see Marius and Reginald slowly start to come to I would say color returned to their faces, but I don't know if that's the thing that happens to you, my Lengul scaled reptilian friend,
I have
or
fur all over
you're
my face.
furry. So you can't really see that in either of them.
I'm not sure which color disappears and which color comes back.
He
know-
starts off green. You can't get any
That's
greener.
true. He's got green scales. He looks like almost reptilian in this Lengul form. But you look and you see Cammy, as this force starts to release, just sort of slump over to the side in the seat.
Might want to catch her. That was.
What happened? Oh. Not used to being up this high. This does not feel right.
He is a dwarf.
This is
Used to
the
being up in like a
antithesis
tree
of
or a
dwarven
tower.
existence.
Not. I don't like this.
Well, you missed the whole ride up.
Just I would say keep your eyes on the horizon, but it's just wherever we're going, just don't look down.
Just kind of shake Cammy awake.
You reach down and shake her. She stirs a little bit, almost like a child unwilling to wake in the morning. But then her body jerks a little, and there is a small burst of energy out from one of her hands. A couple of colorful sparks, a few of which collide with the plush of the cushion she's laying on and leave streaks of bright colors across the purple surface.
No, she's doing it again.
What is she doing?
Sleeping.
Okay.
It's been a while since it's happened.
Yeah.
Wait, we always go to sleep. I don't understand.
I mean, she sleeps.
I've only seen it happen once or twice. I think when I met you was the first time I saw it happen.
It happened a lot in the asylum. Alright, cool.
What happens during this special sleeping, I'm guessing?
Well, she just doesn't wake up.
And kind of.
Is everyone still on board? You see the head of this dragon kind of crane around, trying to look back into the carriage on her back and not really able to twist it quite far enough. They've got quite stubby little necks, actually. She can't really turn her head far enough
Yes.
to see.
No need to look back here. Please focus on where you're going. Yes, we are. We are all still here.
I don't
Yes.
think she's gonna collide with anything.
Yeah, me,
It's
Marius.
Still, it's swerving. It's.
It's hard to tell once we break away from the air below. There's no weight upon my back.
Well, we're all here.
All of us. Me, Marius, the Gold Dwarf Ranger.
Yes, and me,
Think of
MD, the full-blooded orc rogue.
And also me, the investigator, Reginald.
Oh, that's a strange way of saying it, but say, weren't there four of you?
Who are you?
Cammy's not here. She's just sleeping still.
Me? I never introduced myself. I'm not a part of this.
You are the
I'm
part.
just the GM. I just run this. I just do the thing and the stuff. Roll the dice and make the funny hee-hoo dragon voices. That's all I do. I am everything. I am nothing. I am the universe.
Hi, universe.
Hi,
How you
universe.
guys doing?
Well then.
As you look around you, it's an odd sight. The ground rapidly so far below, becoming less and less of your total view. What was once before a desert around you, and as usual, the circle of the night sky above the horizon where you could see in all directions, now a rapidly vanishing amount of the land before, and stars all around you. The dark tapestry surrounding you on all sides. It's oddly beautiful to look at as you fly through. The huge looming moon in the distance doesn't seem visibly to have come any closer. It's an almost unfathomable distance away. But then again, as the Shantak had told you, this flight is going to be quite some time.
Marius is trying to take in the views and everything, but it's also like death gripping onto like the chair and just like
There are not any. I mean, on the edge, it's basically 2 rows of 4 purple cushioned seats. And there's like sort of an arm on the ends of each bench, not really any more than the arms of the chairs that you sit in now, one on either end. There's certainly no seat belts or anything here. You're just kind of sitting in a nice chair, flying through space.
Wild cover, like album art, like. I guess we make ourselves comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a few friends that I need to let them know that it is quite a sphere that we are on down there. It's not flat. I don't know what idiot friends would believe that. But now it is 100% proven as the higher we go.
Gonna.
Is the dream world? Is the dreamlands a sphere?
It's difficult to tell from here. There's
We're not high enough yet.
There's no immediately visible curvature, just that the amount that the circle of land that you can see is smaller and smaller as you get higher and higher. But it must be, or the land would go to infinity. Though, I'm going to take this moment too. I think we've talked about this in a post show before, but it's never actually come up. Somebody that is conscious, make me, I would say, an Arcana check.
Okay.
Plus 18.
Mr.
Smart guy.
Arcana.
All right, smart guy.
I mean, yeah. There's 3 skills I'm not trained in.
I'm
26.
26 would be enough to know this. You would know vaguely of the planes of reality.
Yeah.
You've at this point become very familiar with your journey to the dreamlands that you're doing via this ritual. The dreamlands are a very real physical place. It's just a different, I guess what you would call a dimension. But that said, all the dimensions are still connected. They're all still correlated together. They all have their links and their bridges. It's actually said that there are several places in Galarian, even, that the mountains are so tall that they pierce the veil between the material plane and the dream. To put it rather simply, as simple as I can, to not go into a 20-minute tangent on this, me, the person, AJ, who thinks this is just cool Pathfinder lore.
That's who he is?
The dimensions are almost nested, at least the material ones. There is the material plane at its core. It's not just Galarian, but the whole of the universe. The whole known material universe. Which, Pathfinder lore, also Earth's out there too. It's just somewhere else in the system. Like, Earth's a thing that is there. You can go there. Several adventure paths do, actually. Reign of Winter is a big one.
Run it.
It's so funny. Outside of that, almost as like an outer shell, is the ethereal plane and the dreamlands. So it's difficult to describe because it's not like a literal physical shell. The dreamlands is not an inverted sphere that wraps around the material plane. But if you travel dimensionally out from any point in the material plane, that's the first place you arrive. It's the place you can project to. Some people connect to when they sleep. You can use this ritual to connect to. The reason that connecting to the dreamland specifically is easy enough for people that, like, let's be real, don't really understand what they're doing, can make it function, is because it is right there. It's the next closest place. If this ritual had required you to follow Lowell's to, like, the plane of fire, or to Axis, or to heaven, the ritual would be much, much, much more difficult, because those dimensions are so far removed from the material plane. Does that make sense?
Yeah, somewhat. The whole mountain thing piercing through kind of got me, but yet the whole universe is really big.
It's because there was a divide between, like, the actual physical reality of the material plane and the, like, Galarian, the rock, floating in space.
Okay. It's complex.
Physical travel is not inherently dimensional travel. They're like almost different axes. Think of it as like 4D.
Yeah.
Fourth dimension, literal dimensional travel.
Got it.
You got material plane, you got the ethereal, you got the dreamlands, and then you have the plane of air, I think, is the next one, and then you start going through the elemental planes to the point where the outside of all of these, I believe, is the plane of earth, which is the closest thing to like an actual physical shell around all of material reality before you get to like the outer dimensions of heaven, hell, Axis, the boneyard, all of that. Hey, the thing is back. It's fire is the outside one. My mistake. It's earth and then
sun.
fire. It's kind of a sun in the middle of this. Okay, it's crazy. You, Reginald, with a 27 on your Arcana check, would have a general understanding of at least the concept of dimensional travel, the concept of the different planes, the dreamlands, the elemental planes outside of that, and that there is similarly very real places, heaven, hell, the abyss, that are other outer dimensions. At a place that's probably where Reginald's knowledge would not really understand how that connects, but knowing that they are just some unfathomably far away place.
Yeah.
So,
got it.
to come back to the dreamlands, is it a sphere? Kind of.
It depends on the time of day and where you're looking.
It's also a plane where material rules don't really apply. We've left the material plane. You've encountered more than a few things here in the Dreamlands that...
Suck at laws of the universe. You have no rule here.
So,
see, well, your mistake is thinking the laws of the material are the laws of the universe.
No, the universe is the material plane. It said so.
Okay, that's true. Actually, I mean, the universe is the material plane. That's true. That's fair.
Yes.
We need a word for the greater universe. So we need the multiverse, like the dimensions. Like we need another word because the universe is the material plane. Those mean the same thing.
Yes.
In Pathfinder. Yeah. So there must be a word for all of it, but I don't know what that word is because I would go with universe, but.
I just imagine Reginald's explaining all of this to MD and Mario.
Well, not even necessarily saying he's explaining it. It's just like that's what you would know. You would know the basic
I just
level.
Imagine
of,
Reginald just explaining it.
Yeah, pretty much what.
And then I'm like freaking out, just like he is. Like I don't really know, but you can understand that there's more. But there's a lot there.
Yeah, the depth of your understanding
you
would
can't
be.
really travel, but you kind of can.
You wouldn't have any deeper understanding than what I have just explained. That's where Reginald's at.
Sphere, maybe more like rings, actually. Maybe it would be more like a ring situation. But it's not really necessarily flat or really spherical.
Pulling off my pack and just reaching in and grabbing out a blanket that we've had since the asylum, just like wrapping Cammy up in it. It's gonna be a long flight.
Sorry, I didn't mean to super nerd out on you guys. It's just
I tuned you out completely.
Yeah, that happens. I get that.
Oh.
Wrap my brain around that takes a while.
I guess we just sit here for 15
Oh,
hours.
yes.
And make sure we all stay on board.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that's going to be too difficult. It's not like we're flying out.
Yeah, how does this work? Because as we're lighter, we need to be holding ourselves down to the seat?
I mean, I'm just sitting here normally.
You are sitting in the seat. You still
There's like a
feel like
bubble
you're sitting in
around
a
us or
seat, but
something?
you do feel lighter. Not quite weightless, but close. It feels like it's very easy to shift and move, and you bouncing in your seat.
Is there
Almost like a
seat
slow
belts on this
bounce.
thing?
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Sorry, a seat belt is something that is a belt that is connected to a seat.
And it like keeps your pants up?
Well, kind of, but it keeps you to the seat. Yes. I don't know
I
why
like that idea.
Yes.
Do I have a piece of rope to tie myself to something?
It's something I've never thought about traveling on a boat when we have a lot of stuff to do to keep ourselves entertained. This is going to be awful.
All right, let's play I Spy.
Do you have?
Darkness.
I mean, you've all got your packs with you. You've all got your things. You did arrive here with your full kit, and I mean, often playing Pathfinder, especially in Strange Aeons, we've had such little time to ourselves. We really only focus on the things that are relevant to our exploring or to fighting. But I'm sure you keep more than that
Our hobbies.
in your bags.
I think I can catch the space fish.
I mean,
I
Cammy's been knitting. What do you guys have?
Well, I have this new book of straight up gibberish that I believe that man's name was Mr. Wonderlust. We had a lot of interest in, and I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm not always the most creative type, but I think we should come up with a crazy story about this book that isn't real, just in case we run into him again.
You have fun with that.
I'm
gonna
not that kind of person.
pull out one of my sketchbooks, and I pull Cammy closer to me, make sure she doesn't fly off, and just start sketching until I get bored, and then probably just take a nap.
It's true. You've had sketches of almost all of the monsters that you've fought, the faces that you've met. You've kept a log of those.
The thing is, almost as if he's afraid of forgetting everything.
Weird. Crazy. Hey, I never get to do this. You know I gotta give it to MD a hero point from Sully.
Sully.
That's weird.
That's weird.
It was weird seeing her talk to us with her not being here.
Well, she isn't a real person, so...
She's not supposed to exist outside the context of the show.
She is
we're
AI-generated
We're crossing the borders and it feels weird.
Protect the innocent.
Nuh-uh.
Never is something more ordained than that specifically.
I think in this time, just while we're flying, Marius is kind of like briefly struggling to think of anything to do, because normally it'd be like, okay, well, he took up fishing, so he could go fishing, or maintaining gear. But at this point, Marius does not want to like take anything out. I could just like go flying. So he's just kind of stuck. And it's like that situation when you're just like looking for something to read in the bathroom because you don't have anything else. So I think he's gonna pull
You're
out
reading the label on the back of your potion.
he's got the old cookbook from the asylum, so I think he's just gonna start reading the cookbook.
I see Marius struggling. I just flip over to a blank page. Like, hey, Marius, want to play a game? I learned from one of the kids in the asylum. You draw 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. I'll put an X in one of the lines. This is literally it. And then I put a circle, like right here. And the idea is you have to get 3 in a row before I get 3 in a row. But you can't put an X in a place where I put a circle.
As you go through this, your various pastimes, soaring.
Checkmate. Oh, you cheated.
With this book, I'm wanting to make up patterns and like I'm gonna make up a story about this whole book, just in case I run into this guy again.
Well, the glory of the fact that it is so
Scatterbrain.
cursed as to truly have no identifiable patterns is that you really have room to say almost anything.
Yeah.
There's nothing to go against whatever you want to weave here. You can draw any kind of connections, any causation between basically any 2 points of this book and explain it however you want. So Reginald could really use these ledgers to tell truly any story. Every bit of this is nonsense. The names, the numbers, the times, locations, if that's even what they're supposed to be, you could make this say literally anything.
Got it. No pressure.
But as you each spend time the way that makes the most sense to you, continuing to just flap through the void here, this infinite sea of stars, you wait. And you pass the time, and you wait some more. 15 hours is an incredibly long flight. By
What's
any
the
measure.
oxygen? How does that work? I guess it's the dreamlands, kind of.
It doesn't seem to be a problem.
Okay.
We had briefly a talk amongst us, the players, before the show started about the fact that you were just kind of getting in a chair strapped to the back of a bird to go to space. And that there were several immediately apparent problems with that. That is to say, breathing,
But we wouldn't know.
the complete depressurization of the void,
We wouldn't know.
freezing,
We wouldn't know.
all things that would like instantaneously triple kill you as soon as you left the atmosphere of the Dreamlands. But none of those seem to be causing any issue. Reasonably, probably not a thing any of you would even know to think about.
There's that wizard on the sun. He would know.
He would know. It's possible maybe Reginald would have
there's-
some
in the
knowledge
material
of, like, you
plane,
can't just live in
people that-
space.
Well, in the material plane, right? People that like travel up high enough mountains, they have to do things for oxygen and things like that, or dissecting, creatures from that high or whatever. Like their lungs are stronger and for those reasons, but it doesn't affect that here.
None of it seems to be a problem.
Yeah, physics are different.
You can breathe fine. There's no issues with pressure. You do, of course, feel the effects of somewhat really heavily reduced gravity, that sense of almost weightlessness. There's no cold, there's no pressure issue, and air seems fine.
You see me as I am trying to write in this book and create this story, we are slowly like moving around with gravity being low. I just right off the side. That one got to me. It caught me off guard.
Now you would, honestly, this is kind of funny, you would see something a little interesting. As any of you with the stomach the curiosity to look, as Reginald Ralphs over the side of the Shantak Airlines here.
Excuse me, pardon me, that was not
The stream would project out almost exactly as you would expect. But as it fell away from the Shantak, it would just start to drift. This singular spray, unchanging in its shape, just going.
I feel so
Flowing back behind you into the void.
vulnerable right now. I feel like exposed. Sorry for you all to see that.
At least you got it off the side.
Yes.
Reginald, you got a lot of time up here. You're bored. You've already voiced the idea of magic air bubble. You also have some magic in you. You want to make me an arcana or an occultism check, whatever you're better at?
Occultism is plus 22.
He's smart. Big brain.
That would be a 32, my friend.
At 32, you would certainly be able to identify that the source of a lot of discomfort is actually the carriage that you are sitting in.
A lot of the discomfort?
Of the comfort
Okay.
you're experiencing. There is a pretty strong aura of both abjuration and transmutation over the carriage, the seats, the poles, the canopy overhead that you're sitting inside. And with almost literally all the time in the world in the immense boredom of this flight, peel back the layers of the magic that are enchanted over this to see what it really does. It's protecting you. Whatever effects there are out in the void of space out there, sitting under this canopy keeps you safe. It keeps the air breathable. It keeps you warm. It means you don't have to worry about pressure or anything. It even has additional effects that keep you healthy and somewhat comfortable, energized even. You would find that whatever injuries any of you had from the battle with that Aeon or any of the other encounters you've had in the Caravanserai, even over the passage of just a couple of hours, are visibly healing. They're pulling themselves together. It's certainly no lay on hands from Cammy, but it is a naked eye, you can see the difference. Your wounds are pulling back together. Your body is stitching itself together. That, too, is the magic of this Howdah. That's a pretty impressive piece of magic.
Wow.
This took me a few minutes to catch, but I realized normally physically we should not be safe as we were just taking off. But guys, it's the carriage is basically healing us, keeping us warm. I'm basically not going to over tell you guys a bunch of things. Just stay in the carriage until we get there.
I
That's
didn't
really.
plan on
Got
jumping
that.
out.
Yeah.
I was just be extra.
I think we should try to get some sleep too while we have a
Yes.
15-hour flight.
So you know it's gonna be
Any
She
layovers?
told us.
Oh,
Yeah,
What-
she
The
told us.
Shantak did tell you at the end of last episode it was about 15 hours to get to the moon.
Question, Dragon. If a restroom would need to be used, where would we go?
the magic also prevents it.
Didn't think about that, did you?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Oh, us. Okay. Well, we
Just
non-animalistic type people like to sometimes use the restroom in privacy.
Are the seats uncomfortable? Passengers typically have no difficulty resting.
I meant to urination or any other kind of restroom situations. Just is there a bathroom?
You didn't go while we were at the rest stop?
And there was no.
Can't you hold it until we arrive?
I don't understand. Do you use the bathroom more than once or twice every 15 hours?
You can't just.
15 hours is a long time. I mean, you could actually create bladder problems, infections.
We should-
I'm going to sleep.
That's
Your journey.
also not very healthy.
Tyler,
Wait.
imagine a road trip with Reginald Sagacious Fox. Imagine that know-it-all kid, like, who tries to sound smart, even though he is actually really smart.
Mom, I have to pee.
Mom, I have to use the restroom.
Are we there yet?
Where
I
are we
have,
supposed to
I have to
go?
urinate.
I have to pee.
I always go in private. This is don't look at me.
It would be almost impossible to not sleep at some point over the 15 hours you're flying here. Because eventually, effects of the Howdah notwithstanding, the fatigue of the battles on the way to the caravanserai are going to set in. And eventually, however long you would rest, you've got 2 benches worth of space to spread out on here. It's not a ton, but it's enough to get moderately comfortable. You would find yourselves in a very different situation. Hours and hours have passed. And as you start to awake and look around, you would see no sign at all of the desert that you had left behind. Surrounded almost completely by these bright little stars in every direction, the only shape you could see on any horizon was the moon, filling up an enormous amount of space. Its cratered, barren surface now visible in some detail. The moon over the dreamlands is within reach. As the flight becomes closer to the surface, you feel again this incredible force, this pressure start to mount as this weightlessness fades, but it doesn't get nearly as severe as it had originally when you had first left from the desert. The Shantak's wings shoot outwards, arched and billowing, catching the slowly growing thickness of the air and the atmosphere around the moon. As they start to burn, the orange skin stretched between these long finger-like talons starting to heat up and even exude smoke off of the back of them from the sheer heat of the friction against the very air itself as the dragon starts to slow in this descent.
Hope that's supposed to be happening.
Stupid. The engines are on fire.
The engines are on fire.
This is normal, correct?
I'm sorry, I need a moment to focus on the landing!
Got it. It's,
When
this is
you're
normal.
engaged, I
This-
hope.
They're focusing. They're
Shantak
focusing. He's focusing.
pivots, her 2 arms outstretched, claws spread as you come down to the rocky surface. You can see a massive, viscous black lake extending out what must be miles across the pale off-white surface of the stony moon. And you can see a building on its edge. It's quite large, constructed of what appear to be massive, oversized blocks of the same pale stone of the surface of the moon itself, all fitted very snugly together, with a huge gated opening facing where you seem like you're angling to land. The other end of the structure rises up in a massive hump that must be stories tall, looking like a huge stone beast slumped on the side of this tepid black lake. And finally, the impact. Shantak's claws strike the stony ground and skid for a few feet as she comes to a stop. Not the most graceful landing in the world, but by the time the ground had finally arrived, enough speed lost for it to just be a bump in the road to you. You see a small fenced-in ring, what looks like a paddock that she had directed herself to. Kicks her feet a couple of times before kind of shaking her wings loose, flapping the last bits of embers off the tips of her talons, kneeling back down to the same position she'd been in when he first mounted up in the carriage.
Cammy is still sleeping.
She's gonna wordlessly take the blanket, make the papoose. I've done this before. Just swaddle Cammy. Alright then.
Also, what was the dragon's name again?
I know that you got one.
I'm sorry for how nice of a trip you gave us, as extreme as it was. We never got your name.
You see, you try to talk to her. She's looking around the paddock like she's clearly looking for something. She almost doesn't even hear you. She's clearly immediately very distracted.
Can we help you? It seems like you're looking for something.
Seeing her look around, I'm now also going to be looking around to make sure that I don't see anything amiss.
Where is my sister? She should be here. She departed hours before I did.
It's funny, my next question was going to be like if there were more of them, because if there's a paddock, I was...
She should be here. My master departed before me with her guests. Where could she have gone? You said you had come here to meet with Lyrelai, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she would have rode on my sister.
Maybe something pressing came and she had to take off.
How many other guests were with her? Was it not just her and...
Only a few. Her, a few of her men, and the fellow we came down to the caravanserai for. But I thought they had been coming here.
Is there any signs, recent tracks?
Yeah.
Well, make me a perception check, good sir. Or survival.
I'm going to do that shit.
Ranger man.
34 perception.
34.
Beautiful. You both look around quickly to see if there's anything visible. It's very easy to see the claw marks, these scrapes in the stone of these Shantak landings throughout the paddock. At first glance, it's kind of hard to tell how recent or even how many Shantak there may have been here, because it looks like the paddock has been used for a long time. The surface of the stone inside this fenced-in area, especially nearer to the middle, is actually almost a thick, clotted sand from how much it has been shredded by these claws. It seems like it's more than just the takeoffs and the landings. It's also just errant board scratching of Shantaks that are waiting, maybe. But with 34s, You can very easily tell, skilled expert survivalist and eyeball guy that you are, that one other Shantak had landed here somewhat more recently. There are a set of claw marks. You have to sift a little bit to kind of find the age of them beneath this first kind of thick layer of almost rubble, gravel. One Shantak landed here within the last 24 hours. They look like they weren't here long, because you can see another set of marks that look like they took off again. With the survival check, you can find a few more sets of smaller footprints amongst the dust and dirt atop the moonstone. 2 pairs of footprints that look like they left the paddock towards the building on the shore. One of them walking normally, one of them kind of shuffling, as if they couldn't move their feet very much. And even with a 34, you see 1 set of footprints returning.
Well,
It looks like they got here, but
it
I
looks
think
like
maybe left.
Wirelight had pressing issues and had to take off again. Says she got here and then left almost immediately.
Ah! We must have missed her then! Then climb back aboard! I'm not sure where she would have gone!
Well,
She lowers herself back down again for you to get back
She-
on.
could you give us a little bit to look around to make sure there's nothing awry?
Well, I thought you were looking for Wirelai!
I mean, instead of blindly looking for her, we can just wait for her to come back. I'm sure she will.
One big hand kind of scratches at the ground, clearly a bit nervous. Well,
What was your name again? We never got it.
Amberwing?
Merwing.
Amberwing!
Amber, of course, because and you have a sister, you believe? So just in case if we just so happen to separate and we decide we find them, what's your sister's name?
My sister is Hopclaw. And
Those are
I
gorgeous names, by the way.
suppose I could wait here a minute. I don't want to anger the master.
There's no chance that she would have sent your sister away, like to either drop people off or bring more people.
Well,
Like she couldn't still be here, could
If
she?
my sister had left without Wirelai, I don't know how Wirelai could leave. She would be trapped here.
Well, I think we should just wait for Wirelai to come back.
Yes, I mean, we could probably maybe make an acquaintance with whoever's already here. And
Because I feel like if we leave now, the risk is
Also,
you would
we miss them
be
again.
trying to follow, and then they might be trying to find you, and then there might be
Also, you must be extremely tired after flying for 15 hours.
Not really. It's quite easy, actually. Flights through space, I can rest nearly as well as you.
I mean, that's what you tell yourself, but when you sit down and rest for a second, all the exhaustion that's piled up hits at one time.
I suppose, maybe, but
persuading someone to be tired.
you're trying to gaslight this dragon into being tired.
Yes, yes, I am.
I don't know. I really feel I should look for her, at least head back to the caravanserai where she expects me.
Oh, you can do that. We'll wait for her here.
Well, but what about you?
We'll wait for her here. I think I've had enough flying for one day.
is there a way that they could communicate with you if we find them?
They could find me, I suppose.
They have to just physically find you? They don't have a way to, like, call to you in any kind of way?
How else would they let me know?
Well,
They
there's
could
all
yell, I suppose.
Well, there's, like, all kinds of, like, spells.
I don't think she knows about
Right.
it.
Okay.
How about you just head back to the caravanserai, and if you see Lorelei, tell her we're waiting for her.
Well, I brought you here because I didn't want to get in trouble with the master keeping you apart. If she was expecting a meeting, or if it was important, I certainly don't want to get in trouble abandoning you here.
Well, we have your back, and it obviously they must have just had some sort of emergency to where they had to leave right away. But again, we don't mind hanging back.
I think there's this whole building. We technically don't know what's happened. We could look around for a little bit and see whether or not we should stay here or leave.
I suppose you could go ask.
Who? You have a name for us, maybe?
Yeah, but
that you might know
that's
of?
a good point. Lorelei might have told other people where she was going.
I don't know much of those that work here. Why will I would if you can find her?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
We'll do that.
Okay.
We'll go find Lorelei.
Thank you.
She's...
By the way.
I suppose go and inquire then. I'll wait here for... Well, I'll think about what to do, and you see if she's just still inside.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
It's true. It could have been somebody else who left.
It could have been anyone else that left.
It's very true. Okay.
Get some rest.
And you see her kind of just like doing the cat thing, just sort of like pawing in a circle nervously, just kind of scraping at the
Definitely
gravelly
get some
stone,
rest.
not really sure what exactly. She's clearly very stressed, realizing there's not another Shantak up here.
She needs a scratching post.
She needs a big scratching post.
Shantak knew.
As we're walking away, I'm like, sharks actually don't. They keep moving while they sleep. It's probably very similar to that.
Really don't.
But I didn't want to throw you off.
I really don't.
Because I think actually what you were telling me was a really good thing. But animals can sleep actually while they keep moving. Okay, sorry.
Really.
Wait, I don't really want to know that, because then you're saying that she could have been sleeping while we were flying in
She
space,
basically
and I
did
don't
say
know
that she could sleep. She said she can rest while she was going.
Reggie,
It's just an aim at the towards
Maybe we should just be stranded
Just- you
here. I
could
don't
just
know if I
go.
want to ride a pack.
Reginald, can you
aim.
shut up?
Why do I need to shut up? You don't like the information I'm telling you?
No.
You guys don't like to be educated?
Can I look around to make sure there's nobody like hearing
Sure.
us?
What are you guys doing as you're walking across the surface of the moon here?
I'm gonna be seeing.
Scouting.
I'm gonna keep an eye out. I'm
Alright.
looking for anything.
Then were you together
anyone.
looking for anything
Yeah,
hidden
I have-
or interesting or signs of trouble?
The walking.
How about you, Reginald?
My shield out.
What are you gonna
Oh,
be doing as you walk here?
well, I'm gonna be going along, obviously, with them, trying to, for sure, figure out any kind of clues or anything like that of where to go.
Should I be kind of like recalling knowledge, kind of thinking, seeing if there's anything important?
Yeah, I mean, is this like a giant empty land, basically?
Basically, the surface
Is
of
there not
the
a
moon
building or anywhere to go to?
is
Of the moon.
the surface of the moon is barren. You had a pretty good view as you were coming down. You could see the paddock that Emberwing landed in
Yeah.
is probably close to a mile from the front of the building. It's a fair distance away. You'd be walking for a few hundred yards before you got to kind of the shore of this black lake. And then you continue onward to the building, which the front of it, that big gate you saw, that looked like it was facing this way.
There is lower gravity here, right?
It is a little bit. It's not actually as much as you would expect.
Big moon.
Walking feels a little weird. It feels like you took the training weights off, but you're not like moon bouncing.
Right. But if I do a big ghoul jump, do I still go a little bit farther?
How far do you want a normal goal jump?
I assume it's the regular speed,
Is
right?
it you jump your speed or half your speed?
I think it's speed. Pretty
I
sure.
don't know. I'm not a ghoul.
Because I would say if you jump at least like, I think it's half your speed, which you would probably feel like you'd feel like you could jump a little bit further, but it wouldn't quite be a square.
I thought it just gave me long jump and like as a free move or something.
It's the gravity is far more normal than you would expect it to be. It is almost strangely mundane were it not for the view of this empty landscape around you and the fact that looking up in the sky you see no moon overhead. In fact, you see nothing. You see no sign of the dreamlands that you just came from.
Well, Marius would be disappointed at the lack of gravity if he knew to expect it, but he does not, so he's not disappointed and is acting normally.
I should have asked her who managed the paddock, because that could at least be one point person that would probably for sure be here.
As soon as we're out of like close eye shot to the Shantae, I just pull my sword.
He's got your sword. Okay.
Yeah,
Sword
I have
out
my
while you're
sword
walking.
out, shield at the ready. Like, I know it's him.
What's it?
3 faces I really want to kill.
Yeah, it's
right.
also worth... Okay is not the right word. Are you...
Stable? Mentally sound?
Yeah, are you gonna... Do you...
I'm
Is this
fine.
gonna go into a?
Unhinged?
Is this gonna be a rampage, or
No.
is there anything we should expect or know to
No.
handle?
No.
You think
We're fine. I'm just ready for a fight.
Is-
We don't know what's going to be in there. We don't know what the reception's going to look like.
Oh, the vision of, once again, we have our 7-foot-tall, huge scarred orc man, sword and shield out with Cammy and the baby papoose on his chest, angrily walking towards the building, sleeping baby in the papoose.
You think she's gonna be okay?
Yeah. I mean, sure. And she's stronger than she looks.
Okay. If we run into any kind of conflict, do you want to not have her on the front of your chest? So she could be safe?
Shift her to the back.
You have to put a breastplate over.
To be honest with you, he is always at a distance whenever we're in combat.
It's a fair point.
If we have enough
If you
planning
need
time.
a run, I could hold.
Obviously, something tremors from down below and it catches us off guard. It is what it is. But I'm just saying,
Ignoring
we do
that
want to
comment.
keep her safe.
Just walking.
Just walking.
Just walking.
If you would like to keep her safe, you should sometimes listen to people that are trying to also keep her safe.
I don't want to impede Marius any more than he already is. He needs to be able to move quickly to get within range and out of range. And she needs to stay close to me.
She's asleep.
She needs to stay close to me.
She needs to stay close to him. He needs to stay close to her.
He's almost died many times. This is unlogically. This is not a sound. Okay, you know what? Let's go. We'll see what happens.
At this point, your trudge across the moon has brought you to the lake shore of this black sea. Dark water reflecting this empty night sky above as you see this building in the distance start to come back into view once more. It's largely featureless. No windows upon its outsides gives it a very imposing view. The bricks of the building being exactly the same stone as the ground around it make it almost sort of look like just a carved mountain poking up out of the ground. There's only really 3 little things that are even notable at all around the outside of the building. As you're approaching the front, there is clearly a large, massive metal portcullis in an opening facing you, and a small station next to it. Kiosk with several open windows, and even from this distance you can see what looks to be a figure inside watching out. There's really no conceivable cover on this barren surface of the moon that you could use as you approach the building to hide from them. But you can see that around the right side of the building there is a outcrop that looks like it may be a smaller second entrance and a pathway that leads around there as well.
As far as we can tell, because it's featureless, we also don't see any windows or any places
Absolutely
that people could be
none.
looking.
Completely unbroken surface of massive moonstone blocks. The whole building, save for those 3 features I just described. It is just a large, somewhat curved, bulbous, humped rectangle just sat upon the land.
To clear up, the man in yellow, that's who we're looking for.
We're looking for Wildlife.
And he is in prison up here as well?
That's what it sounded like.
Yes, and right. I'm trying to come up with a story just so we don't start barging in there and going, hey, we're looking for your boss and we would like to murder them.
I'll just tell him we're here to look for Mr. Wonderlust. He runs the place. Or he's part of PR or something.
That's why I wanted to bring this up. Okay, you know what? I have a book for him.
I'm gonna let you talk.
Let Reginald talk.
You should let me talk.
I'm gonna let you talk.
If things go down, be ready.
I am. The features that we saw were just the side of the building we're coming from.
Big portcullis, little kiosk. You can kind of see the sides of the building. You can see there's a second entrance around through the right side of the building. The left side of the building, it's facing the shore, looks completely barren and featureless. And of course, you can't see the back of it from here.
Okay.
We're going to stick with that story. We're looking for Mr. Wonderlust.
At this point, you can see kind of a cocked head from the figure behind the kiosk. And maybe 100 yards out, you can start to make out some features. Little pointed outward-facing ears and what appears to be green skin.
I'll take this one. And is like a door or something there?
As you get closer,
Yes.
you can see protruding snout, rimmed with fangs and dark inset beady eyes. This looks like you would believe it was a close relative of Marius, at least his form here in the Dreamlands. This is certainly another Langul.
I'm glad there's someone here willing to hire Langles. They're valuable members of the workforce.
But he
We
stands up at the
clearly
front
get
of
it
this
done.
small little kiosk next to this 15-foot wide, 15-foot tall, huge steel portcullis. As it is just a slatted series of bars and heavy grates, you can see that there is a long hallway behind it leading into the stone building itself. The absolutely blank 3-foot square windows of this little guard post next to it show nothing inside. There are no features inside this kiosk where the ghoul stands. Not a seat, not a counter, not anything. It does not even appear to have a door with which you could get in and out.
But we do make eye contact.
He definitely sees the group of you as you approach and just kind of...
Hello there. Yes. Obviously, we came from our good friend, Emberwing. She gave us a ride. We are looking for Mr. Wanderlust. Would you be able to point us towards him? I have something for him.
Well, that's unfortunate timing, mate. Mr. Wanderlust's out on business. Official sort not sure when he's gonna be back.
Oh, that's crazy timing.
I did see the Shantak come down and was wondering what it was, but you're more than welcome to wait at the paddock.
That would be, back where Emberwing dropped us off.
Yeah, where you came from.
Well, I'm, that is quite nice, but is there maybe somewhere inside that maybe we could take a break? By the way, it seems like you should probably be sitting down at one point. They don't even give you a stool over here. Oh my gosh. Customer
Sorry,
service.
can't let guests inside the building for any reason.
What do you mean, why not? What do you mean guest, like...
Because it's a prison. We don't...
Well, like, wherever you would, if I was, like, visiting another prisoner or something, they do that, right?
No.
Visitations?
No.
I mean, there should be some sort of laws for that.
I think you might be, you may be misunderstanding the kind of facility this is. No, nobody here receives visitors. We don't do that.
We were expecting to meet some people here. Did they leave? We thought they arrived here a little before us.
Well, if you're looking for... Mr. Wanderlust is out, I know.
Well, yeah, he's a friend of mine,
did,
but we have multiple things to talk about. We don't come all the way to the moon just to hand one thing over and say good day. Of course, we're just from the day here, of course.
Well, like I said, can't raise the portcullis. Sorry.
All right, we'll go wait then.
While they're talking, I want to be trying to scrutinize the inside of that room, see if there's hidden switches, anything at all.
Make me a perception check.
I am
man who is seeking.
33.
33. You're kind of peering around, and the guy, even if you're not being subtle about it, the ghoul doesn't seem to care. He's not like blocking your way or like doing. He doesn't care. You can look around the windows. There's the one on the front and two similar on the sides. The inside of this kiosk is completely barren. Not only is there not any visible door that leads into and out of this place, there is truly nothing. You don't even see a lever or a button that could theoretically be used to raise the portcullis if he so wanted to. He is just in a blank stone cell,
How did he
just
get in there?
waiting.
All right, buddy.
The windows are big enough. I mean, you could climb through them.
Oh,
They're
okay.
like 3 feet across, but
Yeah.
I mean, you truly do not see another way in and out.
You
Now,
just-
what you do see is that the ghoul, while he's not really wearing any armor or anything, he just has a strap, it's kind of a strap bandolier, shoulder to hip, that has a couple of scrolls tucked in it, and a small pouch on one hip.
I do
Little else than that.
know what I want to do, and I think this might work. I want to cast Charm on him.
Okay.
always works.
This is not a 100% success rate so far.
I feel like that's not.
This goes great every time.
Hold on.
Break.
We don't know him.
Well, I want to cast Charm on
We
him,
stand back
and
when's this guy gonna go?
he's
We
going to
gotta
dream
go
cage.
this-
He must attempt a will save.
So yeah, it's a will save. If you want to
Yeah,
cast
yeah.
it, it's a will save. If he doesn't critically succeed, he doesn't know you cast the spell on him. Nothing happens if he succeeds, but he doesn't know you tried to influence his mind. If he fails, he gets friendlier.
Okay. I want to cast it, and then I want to ask him just to take us to a waiting area. Like, come on, there has to be some way. There has to be chairs somewhere inside.
Wanderlust.
Let me
It's the bathroom.
Wanderlust office.
That would even
Will-
be great.
save
What's the will save against?
your spell DC.
26.
26.
Spell DC.
I think spell DC is
26.
just DC, right? That's what it's spelled.
Yeah. Yeah. You're so smart.
He is going
how
to
to
get a 33. Regular success. So while you feel your spell kind of fizzle, he didn't incredibly succeed. He doesn't know that you tried to charm him.
I said that is you're welcome to wait back at the paddock, but
Not very comfortable, and I have tea that I would like to heat up, and I just figured you'd have better accommodations here.
it's a prison.
Yeah, come on. Let's just. We can go back and
People
wait.
work here. You are employed here. Is that not how things work? They have to take care of you. You're
Mate,
not
we've
in
got
prison.
break rooms for the employees inside, of course, but we don't host guests. Staff lives on site. Yathkef takes care of us enough. We don't have anywhere for guests. Okay, I'm not letting you in.
All right.
Yeah. Let's just go back and wait.
MD, how would you deal with this situation?
Oh, well, if there's a discernible way to, break his head open and pull a lever to open it, I'm going to go back and wait.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for the trouble, sir.
He's
Maybe
kind
you
of-
should ask for a chair or something. How long do you stand there? How long's your shift?
We don't get tired.
That's awful,
That's why you put me out here.
I guess. Do you get bored? Like, let me play I Spy with yourself. I Spy.
Go.
You don't like to talk.
Don't distract me. I got a job to do.
What's your job?
To watch.
To watch what?
To watch for random folk coming up asking weird questions and trying to get their way in for some reason.
How
Look,
often does that
Oh
happen?
my god.
not very often, I'll admit.
Marius
but
is going to increasingly gesture. Let's just go wait to where we can go
I had to
talk
spend-
without being heard.
I had to spend 15 hours flying with that. Let's point at Reginald. He's not a
I
great
was quiet
conversationalist.
most of the time, and by the way, you could have been a better person to talk to.
Exactly.
I don't understand.
can you have this conversation anywhere else?
Marius is going to start walking.
Marius just walking away.
Thank you for your time.
Ugh.
Should ask for a raise. You have to deal with weirdos. Just. I know.
Hold on, I have an idea. I have an idea.
Marius is gonna keep walking
Marius
to
is
when we can talk in private.
Marius is like 15 feet away.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm with I'm
MD's
jogging
are
up.
you still in the window, Reginald, or are you walking away too? He's thinking.
We can always walk
He's
back.
like leaning at the window.
We can go back.
Yeah, he's literally just leaning.
Yes,
out the window. Sir,
yes.
please.
Oh, yeah.
Near the end.
No, that's fine. Just, normally I'm thinking a lot faster, but I'm not right now. Okay, yeah, no, I'll go catch back.
Yeah, that's what I want to bring up when
Okay.
we're not talking near somebody.
I'll go catch up with my friends.
Yeah.
Anyways,
You
good day.
Hustle away and catch up with MD and Marius.
Okay.
And before we really get deep into our plans here,
Last time we tried to invade a castle, it did not go very well.
it went great. What
And
we
now
don't
we're
even have tacos.
We don't even have Easy to bring us tacos.
Let's take our midstream
He's a taco
break.
guy.
Stand up, stretch your legs, grab some snacks. When we come back, surprisingly, a lot of the time breaking into a prison is possibly just as hard as breaking out of one. There's not a lot going on in this building. I want to figure out how to work with what we got when we come back. Feel free to check out a couple of our fine partners during this break here. We got a bunch listed down right below the player here. Our newest partner, Easy Roller, provider of a great many fancy dice of a huge amount of varieties, from your simple plastic and epoxy to your elaborate fancy gemstone ones. Dice for any budget if you just want to get some cool sets for yourself, or a little late for the holiday gifts, I suppose. But hey, I know you forgot a couple of friends and you're scrambling.
Oops.
You can get New
Easy
Year's
roll.
gifts.
Or Arkenforge,
January.
from one of our newest partners to one of our oldest. Virtual tabletop and map making software rolled together in one. Allows Arcadis to do things like throw together a Shantak pen in 30 seconds while we're talking. Yeah, I saw you do that. That wasn't on the map. He built that. He just made a little off-site thing to just put the token up and put you in a little place. That was neat. You can do stuff like that when you're playing in the same software you build the maps in. There's a bunch more of them down there. Discount code UGT show works on all of them to get you some discounts and help support us as well. Don't go too far, everybody. We'll be right back.
What are those?
Welcome back, everybody. As we left off, we had just arrived on the moon and approached the front gate of a huge, imposing stone prison, carved from bricks cast of the same rocky surface of the moon all around us. We've been rebuffed by a Lengul guard at the door, who doesn't seem interested in letting three random fellows in to just kind of hang out in the break room.
This is interesting. Good conversation.
So, we have retreated a little ways to regroup, discuss our options, and try to devise a new way to get in to the Black Shores Penitentiary. And by we, of course, I mean these three fine adventurers here, who are...
I'm Marius, the Gold Orc. I mean, I'm MD, the full-blooded orc rogue.
You got there.
I got there! Carrying a little tiny gnome.
I'm Marius, the ghoul dwarf.
He does
ranger.
have a last name.
He does.
Yeah.
I do.
I know what it is.
Greyfall.
Yeah.
I'm Sully. Who
The
plays
itty
Campy.
bitty gnomish witch.
No. My name is Brett, and I play Reginald Sagacious Fox.
Sagacious.
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 Shut your mouth.
I have to explain that bit in the post show. I don't think we've actually explained
Don't do it at all, because
Let's explain it now.
It's just
will
started
hate
being
myself.
a bit.
I hate
It's like-
myself already.
Nothing has changed. That's been the name of the whole time.
It's what he's always said. It is.
No.
It is what he's always said.
No.
Can you?
It says Sagacious on his character sheet, and he says Sedacious.
Oh, you explained it.
Oh, well,
And that's what makes it funny.
The bit.
It's a joke. It's
Funny.
funny.
Haha.
It's fine.
Anyway, the three of you, which way are you walking back towards the paddock, or where are
Everybody
you
was
going?
going
Because
ahead.
the area around the prison is kind of just flat,
Sagacious.
rocky
There's nowhere to
terrain
hide.
that slopes down into the Black Lake to the southern side of the building. The northern side is just more somewhat uneven, rocky, lunar terrain.
Well, what's the plan?
Well, we've got the second, potentially a second entrance over there.
Yeah.
I think if we
There's a
look like we're heading back, we can try to check that out to see if
Double
that
back.
looks easier.
Also, it's possible if I know the depth of the wall, which I don't know, but I can create my own door as well. How are you guys with being invisible? Because I know I can take care of me or one of you, but I can't take care of all three of us.
I don't think visibility is going to do us much good until we're in the prison.
Possibly. I mean, there could be people also, more people watching.
I can go invisible for about 10 minutes,
Okay, yeah, me too.
but I think we should try the
Try and get
stealthiest options first and see whether or not that the other potential entrance is
yes.
guarded at all.
Invisibility
Save
is a
invisibility.
last resort.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last time we tried to break into a place we weren't supposed to be, we had to fight the entirety of the city guard. So they were dead already, but
Well, my specialty is getting places without doing conflict. That's sometimes I'm
Non-violent communication.
I try, at least as best as possible. That's how I found you guys. All right. Not leaving a big footprint behind.
So I think maybe a wide arc around so that kind of looks like we're heading back to the paddock, but then
Just do a
go
big
check the
winding
other-
turnaround to kind of end up on the northern side of the building.
we got lost.
Just taking a look around.
Let's go sightseeing.
Regardless of whether or not you are able to really do that in a way that makes you not visible from the guard post, the ghoul inside honestly doesn't really seem to care. Whether or not he notices you walk around the northern end of the building is kind of irrelevant. It's
Do you think he hates his job?
I don't know. I think he's happy he has a job to do.
They probably have good health care.
He didn't even have a chair in there. There's some sort of HR department should probably fix that.
Well, he says he doesn't get tired.
Yeah, you think this is all
Well,
a choice for him?
I mean, it would be like GR,
What?
Ghoul resources.
Ghoul Resources.
Oh, ghoul resource. Oh, right. I feel stupid. I didn't figure that out.
But there also might. I
Very
think you said
clever.
there were demons too. So
Yeah, there's demons. I mean, I guess upper management is really devilish.
Would it be SOF or
a joke.
species resources? Just like all species? To cover
Moon.
all different kinds of.
Yeah. Or maybe it's
Anyway.
Moon Resources.
Well, all right.
Just
Let's.
resources.
as you approach the northern side of the building, you can see coming into view a very heavy metal door set into this northern part of the prison. It's quite small, but it is a door.
No
Is there a lock?
cards.
No guards.
Is there a lock?
There's very obviously a lock, yes.
Is it one of those old keyholes where you can look into the keyhole and see what's behind the door?
It is not, no. As you come around, this door looks like it is set almost perfectly into the stone itself. And even just seeing how it sits in the frame, you can tell that it is thick and it is heavy.
Is it more than a foot thick? I don't know.
Can you make a door out of the door?
These are the door
I
to a
want
different door.
to take a moment to actually look at the door, see if there's any discernible alarms or triggers off of it, because this is obviously
Right, you are seeking.
yes.
So as you peer down, look at the door, you can see that it looks like the key to this lock is a rather odd one. It's not a traditional keyhole at all, but of course there is still a small, almost perfectly round, like a hole punch opening right beneath a squat rectangular handle. You could get your tools in there, but you have to kind of feel around to figure out what it is exactly you're supposed to be doing. There's no way to really tell, kind of gazing at it, how difficult it might be to pick until you start playing with it, but you don't see any kind of mechanisms or triggers or traps set into it.
We can try to pick it.
Yeah, do that. If that doesn't work, I'll put a door on a door.
Hopefully, we can save that
Be-
for our escape.
Before you pick it, can I put my ear up to the door and just try to listen? Ooh, I'll also do tremor sense. I'm gonna do tremor sense to try to see if there's.
GM, I have tremor sense.
I want to make sure that there isn't somebody standing right behind
I
the
have
door.
dark vision.
The range on your tremor sense is
I think it was 20 feet.
20 feet.
I'll double check that, but that sounds right to me.
You do not sense anything.
Okay. I'm afraid I had to check the distance, but okay. All right, yeah, we can go ahead.
All right. Not great at picking locks.
How are you not good at picking?
I mean, the past few times I did just roll 20s. So
Just do rogue stuff, man. Just roll good.
What is it to pick a lock?
It is a thievery check, and you need tools, which MD produces and starts to work.
Yeah.
Now, this is a process that does take some time, so while depending, I guess, on his roll, it usually will take a little bit.
yeah. Natural 20.
Every time! Every single time he tries to pick a lock, he just goes, done. Like what's my thievery? Don't care. 20. Like,
What's your thievery modifier? Though?
doesn't matter. 20.
It's 39 total.
Yeah, of course it is. All right, so every time,
Get wrecked, door.
every time, you reach in, and though
The
the
door was unlocked.
exterior of this keyhole is strange and alien, as are the mechanisms inside, this is not just flavor text for you rolling a 20. I mean, obviously you do critically succeed, but they are surprisingly uncomplicated. Like, your average layman, your nobody faceless rogue couldn't pick this with a hairpin very easily. But it doesn't give you that much trouble. Maybe 15 seconds, and you hear the sound of a gear ratcheting, and the rectangular handle of the door pops from horizontal to vertical.
I'm gonna take a step back. That was suspiciously easy.
Yeah. Everything about this is feeling really weird.
Oh, can I change one of my leads to? Ooh, what are we at? What are we specifically after when we get in here? Who are we killing?
We're looking
Are we killing?
for the king and yellow.
Mr. Nonviolent.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to change my leads. Could I have done that either?
You had a 15-hour flight here to change your
Right.
legs.
Moon
Yeah.
prison.
Yeah, I mean the king in yellow to find that person, right? Isn't that?
Where's the King of Yellow?
Yeah.
I'll take it. That's a good lead.
Marius, you want to take a peek, see in front?
Yeah.
Go invisible.
Yeah. I can. Do I want to use my invisibility now?
That's up to you.
I might just kind of do a very stealthy peek around the hallway. But I this does feel weird, right? There's only one guard, like the
I mean, it's-
front entrance.
To tell you the truth, the demon ladies inside look like there'd be plenty of guard enough for anything that happens.
Yeah, it's probably more like you go if you find your way in there. That's on you, and it's going to be a problem.
It's also just very hard to get into and out of. But yeah, this door is a little sus.
Okay.
Shush.
Yeah. Mostly I was hoping this isn't like they want us to get in, right? Like we're not going into a trap.
That's probably the case.
We fought our way out of worse things.
All right. I will very
Actually-
quietly.
The hinges on the inside. I know the hinges are on the inside. There's no way.
They
we
do
use
not,
the
in
hinges.
fact, have exposed hinges on the
Yeah.
outside for the exterior prison.
Crazy
Right now.
story. The house I grew up in, the back door hinges were on the outside.
That's wild.
I didn't
That's
notice.
wild just for like a regular residential house.
It's-
That would be unbelievable for a prison on the moon.
I didn't
Like-
realize it until we got broken into.
That's-
He shimmied the lock. He didn't break the hinges.
You know, do what you know. Play to your strengths.
I was home. But continue.
So I will poke my head in very, very stealthily and try to see if there's anybody on the inside.
The door is very heavy, and regardless of your efforts, creaks pretty loudly with a grating sound of metal hinges as you slide it outward, or inward rather. You poke your head in to what looks to be a pantry. It's a room maybe 20 feet across, 10 or 15 feet to the back wall. It's not particularly large. The shelves around the outside of the room are stacked with bags and barrels. And on the right side of the room, Marius, as you look, you would see a grill. A 4-foot square rack of very close set iron bars that are anchored into the stone of the room's walls itself. They're not movable. There are no hinges. There is no latch. That's just a permanent fixture. And jammed into the side of this grillwork is a metal funnel, the wide end facing into here. Through the grill, you can see very clearly a kitchen. It's big stone slab tables, a large oven, heavy steel mixing pots and tools kind of spread across the countertops. There does not appear to be any kind of door in this room leading anywhere else in the prison other than that permanent iron bar slatted window.
The prisoners make the food and they feed them the ingredients through this grill. I'm so smart.
I don't need that much
makes sense.
security on this door. It doesn't lead anywhere.
Yeah.
I'll step back outside just so we can talk and again not hopefully be too overheard.
Oh wait, hold on. There, with me peeking in through there, we can't get basically through there.
There are no doors in this room.
Oh,
The only thing is that 4 foot by 4 foot iron bar slatted grate. It's wide enough for you to fit a hand through.
Yes.
You couldn't pass anything bigger than a hand through, and there's a funnel
we can
set
get
on
through
one
that.
side of it.
I can make a door out of that area right there.
Well, let's save the door for last. I'd rather try to get in without using it. That way we can have it to get out.
Yeah.
Is it only a once a day thing?
There's a once a day thing.
Actually, now that we've got a little bit of perspective here, can we gauge how thick the wall is by, going outside?
Some
and
kind of-
going
You could have
into-
gauged, if you
5
wanted to
feet.
gauge the thickness of the walls, you could do that by looking at the bricks on the corner of the building.
Too.
You can see that while it is made of individual rectangular stone bricks, they are fitted together with no visible mortar or concrete or connecting material at all. Just slotted one into the other. They're perfectly smooth surfaces aligned pretty much flawlessly around the outside of the building. The bricks themselves are not just smooth. You don't know if it's a feature of the stone or a feature of the prison's construction, but they're even a little slick. They feel almost slightly greasy. And just looking at the way they intersect on the corner of the building, the bricks are 5 or 6 feet wide. The outside of this prison is huge, bunker thick. You certainly would not be able to make a door through it. Now, you can see from the grates, at least the wall between the pantry and the kitchen, the interior walls seem to be a lot thinner.
I mean, this is our way in, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How thick are the bars to grate? Is 2 foot, 3 foot?
The individual bars are probably about 5-ish inches around, with about as much in between each one as well.
But it still,
Massively thick iron
it
rods.
still
Yeah.
concerns me that if we use your door, then we get in and don't have it until tomorrow. We won't have a way out.
We could. Does somebody else have to am I the only one that can basically disengage it, do it and then take it down, or can somebody else also?
If you leave the door knocker on the door, anyone that pulls the door knocker off, the door's gone.
Oh,
And
so
they just have the door
okay,
knocker.
got
Yeah,
it.
it's not inherently tied to you or anything.
Got it.
The door left unattended can be removed very easily.
All right.
What do you think, Lawrence? There's no way up and over.
Can I, now I think I'd want to go in, and just to make sure we're not basically locking ourselves in somewhere, can I look through the grate to see if there at least appears to be a door in the room out, in the room past
That's
it?
very wise. Looking through the grate into the kitchen, peering around, it's kind of hard to see because of the way the bars are spaced. You can't really see super far laterally, but you can see the very edge of what appears to be another metal door on the southern end of the room leading deeper into the room. The
Well-
kitchen looks like it's 20 feet by 20 feet. It's not a huge room either. Notably, you don't hear anything in here. You don't hear the sounds of any other prisoners. You don't hear any movement. It is almost deathly quiet.
Does the kitchen look like it's been used? Like, has it been? It's not dusty. It doesn't smell
Tools
of food.
and some general mess are scattered across the countertops. It does look like it gets used, and it has been used somewhat recently.
So, thinking back to whenever me and Cammy were in prison, the cells that we had lined up, were there a lot of other voices, or were we in a block by ourselves?
You were in a very long hallway of probably like 10 cells. And whenever you were taken to the stairs to go upstairs, you could see that there were at least what looked like 2 more rows down either side of more cells. You remember about half of them being occupied. You don't know anything about how much more there might be beyond that room you were kept in and the torture chamber up above.
But the prison wasn't to capacity. It's just
It was not, no.
How often were you fed?
every day.
One other thought is we could, if they have to, get food from the pantry, then somebody has to be coming out here.
Correct.
So we could wait until someone comes, and then they've got to be coming from somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's probably the front gate or something. We could follow them, see if maybe they have keys or something. They might be another source of finding our way in.
Oh, and if it's a ghoul, you could possibly play that person.
And knock them out and steal his clothes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ambush him, kill him, take his stuff.
Mhm.
Where would we hide? Inside the pantry? There's nowhere to hide out here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless-
Just get up, wait up against the wall and bonk them on the head.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds good to me.
This is great.
Do
So what is your
know
plan,
the time of day
exactly?
that would happen?
Nope.
I knew it would be random.
Well, I'm sure they follow a set lunch
Sure,
schedule.
right, I
It's just,
know.
I was in a
You didn't
cell
know.
with no window, no clock, no hourglass, no anything.
Trying to be compassionate. Trying to be compassionate.
'Cause I
It's
guess-
been through a lot.
Yeah. The plan A, I think we can wait in here, try to surprise whoever comes in here. Plan B, if something goes weird, then we can use your door to at least get out of the room. Or
Sure.
just open the door and
Heck,
leave.
if anything goes weird, they sound the alarms. I'm pretty sure most of the prisoners will be on our side. Prison break.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah,
could.
they
Actually,
actually-
MD gets excited.
If-
you just hear MD actually chuckle.
Yeah. If there are prisoners in the kitchen, then we just open the door and let everybody run.
Yeah, or arm them and let them fight.
That's it.
Where are they gonna run to? The moon. It's a joke.
It's kind of like super Alcatraz. Even if you break out of the prison, you're just on the moon. So, like, what are you going to do, idiot? You're
Yeah.
on the moon.
Go back in and fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll wait inside the thing. So get in, Holland.
So the three of you cluster into this pantry here and shut the door behind you. The sounds of the lake water lapping up against the shore and the somewhat muted wind blowing across the lunar surface fall away to be replaced by almost just a silence.
Stow the shield and I pull out the Ghoul Basher 9000. I still got that club from the
He
asylum.
still has the Ghoul Basher 9000. And you wait in this pantry. 5 minutes pass. 10. Half an hour.
This is kind of like hiding, like up against the corner or something, just
Yeah.
to make sure nobody sees us.
If somebody
wherever they're
came
coming.
into the kitchen and came near this grate, there's really nowhere in the room you could hide. They wouldn't see you, but problem to be solved if necessary later. An hour passes. And then another.
I'll have my crossbow ready.
So you wait here in this pantry. Eventually, you can only stay on edge and at the ready for so long. After 2 hours, that intensity, that adrenaline of an ambush ready to spring starts to fade a little. You start to hear another sound. It sounds like it's coming from much, much deeper inside the prison, just faintly echoing through the walls. Almost a song on the wind, just overlapping tones. Somewhat akin to just holding down several random buttons on a pipe organ. There's no chord to them, no melody, just sounds. And MD, hearing this, you are immediately, viscerally brought back to that time in the torture chamber, to that machine that they had, the pipes and the mechanisms all around the room that just echoed out these screams of agony. You can hear it in the distance. This is definitely the place. That sound continues, slowly fading over the course of another hour. And then another in complete silence.
Do we see any reaction from you?
The jaw set, and you hear the creaking of the club. It's just the club is literally just a hunk of wood from the asylum.
It's literally like a table leg. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
A club,
something.
like
It's something. It's a hunk. It's a found club. You hear like the wood creaking under MD's grip as he tightens, and he kind of puts his other arm up around Cammy. Like, no, that's the device we told you about. I can't wait to bust it.
the time. 6 hours have passed within the pantry. You've still heard nothing but this brief interlude of this instrument, this errant song. Occasionally you catch whispers of voices, very, very muted, through several stone walls in the distance. But you've never heard anyone come close. You've never heard or seen the door to either the kitchen or the pantry open. Keep waiting.
It's taking quite a while. We're getting pretty restless.
We can just go in.
Yeah,
Use the door.
I suppose.
You know what? Based on how all these things normally work, whenever we do all these big break-ins, there's always another way out.
Yeah, it's called a lot of murder.
Well, that's right up your alley. Okay, I will,
Being generalized.
I will pull out my, I guess on the bars?
Well, I don't.
Probably
Your door
use the
knocker is
wall.
trying to make a door in a solid
Well,
object.
we might need to
ironically,
move-
the weakest part of the wall you couldn't actually use, but you could use the wall right next to it if you wanted to.
We'd have to like move like a shelf or something.
You could just shift a shelf. Well, honestly, you could even just put the door knocker on the wall, and the shelves would just become part of the door. The wall does not have to be perfectly flat. It will.
Well, I just didn't want to be over a foot thick.
Well, and yeah, no, it wouldn't. The wooden shelves built into the door aren't going to interfere with that.
Okay.
So you could use any of the walls of this room, theoretically,
Right.
to just create door.
Hey, Marius, you have that thing where you can sense vibrations in the ground, right?
Yeah.
What is on the other side of these walls if they're not that thick?
Yeah, I guess I would go to the corner and just, again, concentrate to just make sure I at least don't feel any movement.
This is something I imagine you probably would have been doing
I was going to
throughout
say I probably
the
would
day here while
There's
you've
no
been
reason I
waiting.
would have
Yeah,
stopped.
like it's not like a thing that's limited, right? You can just do that
Yeah,
whenever.
it's just to concentrate.
You, any point you would have tried this anywhere in this room throughout the 6 hours you've been waiting, you would have sensed nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Right, do we want to try to come out into the kitchen or into a mystery room?
I say we actually go into where we can see already, and then make our way.
Yeah, I'm curious what would have been in the corner between the front entrance and here, but Probably better to go to where we know.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Probably the code
We can
check.
look at the geometry of the
Yeah, you
building.
can definitely like. I mean, we have the map here with like underbuilt areas. You can definitely tell that the front of the building is
Right.
a lot
No, I
farther
know.
away than the edge of this room. Like you can tell there is a room. There's clearly a space. It's like 20 or 25
It's just
feet.
a weird way to
honestly,
think.
honestly.
We're thinking about Zelda right now with the whole shadow situation, where we want to explore
He
everywhere.
can also like he also has like his tremor sense could probably also pick up an empty space on the other side of the
Right.
wall.
If anyone, Marius, the dwarf of stone cunning, can definitely tell that there is more on the side there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I will create a door
He's doing
right
it. He's
next to
stone
the.
cunning.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
I'm-
cunning.
What did your dwarven ears feel or body feel? What it feels?
Hey, stay hydrated, everybody. Mystical Elf 2085. Cheers for.
You shouldn't drink that.
Please don't put that in your mouth.
You shouldn't drink that.
I love the taste of
Napalm in the morning. Smells like-
Sharpwriter number 2.
Just a Bic, a good old Bic.
No, it's paper.
Sharpie.
All right, I will create a door next to the metal bars.
All right.
I'll pull my thing out. I'll be like, hold on, gentlemen, haven't used this. Oh no, you did use it. Okay, anyways, and I basically just hold it up, press it in, and I pet it.
You
I
kind
don't
of
think I ever
see
have to pet it, but I always do.
the lines from the floor, the corner of where the wall meets the floor. You see these creases just expand upward with a gentle, quiet rumbling of stone, pivoting into corners at about 6.5 feet off the ground before they come together to form the frame of a door that then, with one last final thunk, settles into place.
Door's as tall as I am.
Yes.
As me, the person.
You got crouched a little bit.
Indeed, I caught a little bit.
I will slide the door open and make my way through.
You step through into the kitchen.
Yes. I was gonna go the other way,
As long as it doesn't matter.
that way,
And-
because I just don't know what's in the shadowness.
As long, once you step forth and emerge into this room, you can see that this is almost a false choice here. The kitchen is a long L that does kind of wrap largely almost entirely around the pantry here. Unless you had tried to go through the wall, like on the extreme right hand, you would have ended up in this kitchen. A very long prep table dominating much of the southern end of the room here. As you're a little closer to look at it, you can see the kitchen does clearly get used, but closer inspection, if you're still seeking, scouting, recalling knowledge, give me a perception check, Secret Man.
Natural 20.
Great place to use it. You can tell that it hasn't been used in what looks like a couple of days.
That's a good plan.
Now, there is a big, solid metal door on the southern end of the kitchen leading deeper into the prison.
You want to grab
In the kitchen or even the pantry, did we see anything that resembled grease or oil?
I guess you would have had time to like root through the pantry if you wanted to. Yeah, there would definitely be like cooking oils in the pantry. They've got, there'd be a lot actually. They have huge iron cooking pots in here to feed like an entire prison's worth of inmates. So there's a lot of grease and cooking oils. Yeah, that's
Okay. I would like to take like a bottle of oil of some kind, just
Okay.
something liquidy.
Okay.
Like a vegetable oil type.
you could very easily just snag like a small pouch or like flask of cooking oil. Not a problem at all.
knives, cooking utensils, anything sharp and pointy.
There are knives and cooking utensils in here, but there aren't as many as you would think. Many of the knives, well, all of the knives rather, are quite thick, their edges dulled. Things that would very much more smash through food than really cut. There's nothing in here that would make a real serviceable weapon that's like markedly better than just a paddle.
I mean, it's better than your fists.
It is better than your fists.
I'll grab the door, knock her thing back,
Okay.
and close it.
Ending the magic as you pull this off the wall, you are now in here until you find another way out.
All right.
You can't bust it.
Who wants to lead the way?
Thick.
Marius.
Really only one way to go from here.
Yeah, so go up to the door, make sure I don't sense anything. Or I guess hear anything
He's
too.
more of a rogue than I am.
And he's doing ranger stuff. It's just instead of like the forest ranger in the woods, it's the dwarf ranger in the stone building. This is his element.
You're right.
He is in
Terrain
like
prison.
yes, favorite terrain prison. You listen. You use your stone, your stone cunning, your tremor sense. You feel out, and you still don't detect anything.
It's oddly quiet, but okay.
This metal door is unlocked, and you open it to reveal what looks like it must be the mess hall. 3 long bench tables made of a strange dark wood fill most of the room. And they're all pretty scarred, gouged, and torn up, clearly from years of use. But there is very little in here. There is another set of doors on the right that looks like it leads yet further into the prison, but those ones look strange. The doors you passed through so far, the metal door behind you and the exterior thicker one, have been made of a similar kind of dark steel that you've seen a bit in the Dreamlands. But these ones here are carved of humongous, massive, heavy stone. Carved into a wall that looks a little different than the rest of the walls of the prison you've seen so far. Make a perception check, MD. I seekest.
24.
24. It looks like it's the same kind of moonstone, but it's a little rougher. It's not quite as smooth and slick as most of the interior and even exterior walls of the prison that you've seen. And that's just the western wall of the room.
Can I use my stone cunning to notice unusual stonework?
Oh, yeah. This is exactly the moment you can use your
As
stone
I'm
cunning to
to Marius,
to
he's like,
notice
"Oh,
unusual
you got it."
stonework. 100% yes.
Okay.
God, this Marius.
Yeah, I definitely got that. It's a 4 for a total of 25 and
Use a
plus
hero point.
27. I could use a hero
You have
point.
to, you load it
Because I
up.
really want to notice this unusual
Don't
stonework.
let your stone cutting go to waste.
27, honestly, I would give you a 27. It's
Okay.
not that hard to notice.
Oh, well.
You would notice
It'd look harder.
that around the door, there is not a traditional frame for the double door on the western side of this room. There are 2 big, heavy, carved moonstone doors that look like they are just kind of set up against the western wall of the room rather than into the western wall of the room. The doors are, for lack of really a better way to describe it, not actually a part of the western wall. They are just one layer outside of it. And coming in close and even like kind of looking in it, they're flush, but there is a gap. They're not connected to that wall at all.
Just barn doors.
Or just fake.
I did want to figure something out. Does it seem like, with the kitchen and everything not being used for a few days, and if this is where the prisoners possibly eat, or is this where the people that work there eat, like the guards?
I mean, it looks like a pretty large mess hall. It could very well be both.
Okay.
But
I wanted to see if there was like some sort of like, are they like neglecting the prisoners that they have, or are there just no prisoners here anymore?
They're torturing the prisoners.
Right, but you were being fed daily, and this place hasn't been used in days. So that would mean, I just want to see if there's something to that.
Make me a survival check, my thinker.
Thinkerman.
Roll big. Roll big or roll
He looked
home.
at me like a man that does not have a high survival.
No, it's okay. It's 14. But that's. I know it's 25. I'm trying to see if I want to re-roll it or not.
Reroll it then. I'm getting very antagonistic towards this guy. Man's
No.
barely been with us for like 3 months.
No, it's fine. I'll keep the 25.
At 25, you're looking for something relatively simple here. This room looks like it has been used, but only by like a very small number of people. Most of these tables look like they haven't been touched in a while, much longer than a couple of days. There are clearly a couple like favored seats that the people that come in here just kind of go to their regular spot, but there aren't many, and they aren't getting used very often. You don't figure that this is being used by much more than a half dozen people.
Okay.
On the doors, we don't like. There's no visible hinges or anything. I'm guessing. Yeah. So, do we want?
There is, however, it does still have handles. The handles are inset into the doors themselves rather than protruding. There is like a carved section you can reach into, and under that you can see there is a latch and another similar locking mechanism to the one that was outside.
I think it'd probably pull you over, and I think Marius is going to assume that we need to either like slide or even just pull it, because it doesn't seem like these are normal doors. So I feel like we're going to try to shift it in some direction.
Trying to figure out some sort of puzzle. You're not going to include.
Oh, come with the
Puzzle
door.
of opening a door.
This feels more like a strength thing.
Oh, is it? Oh yeah, no. Good job. I was writing something. I was writing a note down.
So, you said there is like they're locked. There's like a keyhole, or is it just a latch?
If they move, they don't seem to be doing so easily. There does look to be a keyhole. They do look like they are actually locked.
I can try. I think they might be locked, which is weird. But I guess if there's a kitchen attached, there's weapons inside. If a prisoner gets out, and anything's better than bare fist. I'm gonna stick a piece of metal in there.
Give me a thievery check.
It's not a 20.
Oh,
know
because he
what?
finally met his match.
It's a daring attempt.
What's the
As
daring
I think
attempt
back
do?
to my good friend, his initials are TYP,
And then 1337.
and there's a 1337 there, but TYP taught me very subtle tricks to unlocking barn doors, and I'm
Truly.
pretty sure this is a barn door.
What does daring attempt do?
Daring attempt itself,
Oh, you're just rerolling.
I'm re-rolling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm flavoring it.
Okay, I thought you were doing something crazy on this door. I thought he was about to go
No, I
crazy
rolled an
style
18 on
this.
the die now. I went from a 4 to an 18, so that's a total of a 37.
The 37,
Daring attempt sucks.
as you kind of feel around in here and try to poke, it's certainly another strange mechanism. There's not tumblers so much as there are an odd set of interlocking, almost latticed gears. You feel a couple of clicks and get a bit of movement. You make some progress.
Oh, it's definitely locked. Binding on 4.
Feels odd.
The 26.
26 as you keep trying. You get this first little bit of success, but then it feels hard to make progress from there. This lock feels much, much more difficult than the lock to the external door to the prison. And again, this is not just flavoring like the rolls. This is a way more intricate lock.
All right. I will come up next to you. I notice you're having quite a tough time. Good luck, my friend, and I will guide the timeline on you to where you would actually get 2 rolls for this next one.
Growl.
2 rolls. So you just roll twice, take best, or you just get a reroll?
It's a 5 and a 5.
Sick! Fixed point in the timeline, baby!
My
But
once-a-day
you know what's
thing.
crazy is I'm pretty hyped about this from the hype train.
Oh, the hydrant hero point. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, chat, actually. Thanks
Chat
to all
in
of
general, everyone who supported during the pre-show.
you. That was the reckless charge.
The hype train hero point. 5.
1.
You try some more, and you just feel a pressure kick back, and all of you hear a sliding and a heavy ratcheting thunk inside the door as you feel the lock reset. You feel like it's you can probably get through this, but it's gonna take you some time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tremor sense again, just to make sure nobody heard that or anything. Or
Nothing. You've been through a sizable area now and haven't detected anything on your tremor sense.
If you just keep a lookout with that, and
yeah,
give me some breathing room.
So you continue to work, you go back in, put your tools in, and keep picking away. A few tense minutes pass as you hear these occasional clicks and fumbles and ratcheting ears as Marius and Reginald keep this watch. Until eventually, finally, you hear a repeated click, 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 click of a device inside stone. And not only does it just unlock, these two doors, tick by tick, start sliding apart from each other, revealing a room that almost to any of you sitting at the table here would very much resemble the inside of a stone elevator. It's a small 10-foot area, no bigger around than the width of the two double doors. A small chamber that on the far side has another identical set of these stone double doors.
I love this.
This feels like an airlock.
How are your hands? Are they aching?
It does feel a lot like an airlock. It does.
All right, well, Marius, you got anything on the other side of these doors?
Give another look, feel,
Nothing.
sense.
Wow. Almost like the
Continues to
prison's
feel
abandoned, but we know it's not.
Weirder, yeah.
Strange. Well,
He gets back to work
did it
again.
once.
The doors have no latch. You can even see the inside the doors you came through. They have no like release on the inside. The keyhole, the lock is just equivalent on both sides.
There was no So- other like button or anything in the room or anything.
There's
like
absolutely nothing. It's just
Yeah.
of walls much more evident now of a rougher kind of moonstone. And you spend another minute, another two. Marius?
I think in the little bit of like claustrophobic space, Marius is gonna kind of stand in the middle of where the other doors were. He's kind of like, you know, holding the door like
Just
we
to
would.
make sure it doesn't shut on you?
Yeah.
Reasonable. Then if they shut, at least you'll just get bisected and killed instantly instead of
Yeah.
having to suffer whatever is going to happen in here.
the wisest place to be.
You stand and wait.
They didn't open
There's
fast.
like
Reginald.
My like nothing, like something's odd or anything like that. None of that kind of kicks in or anything about any of these.
Other than the fact that like he hasn't seen anybody in here, the only thing I would be able to give you is what I already gave Marius for how these doors are set into the wall.
Yeah.
Like it's the chamber itself is it's strange, but there's no one thing that really stands out other than just the weird shape of it. After another couple of minutes, you again hear this click, 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 and see this pair of double doors sliding open to reveal a much more familiar space to MD. A cell block. And as you step back from this and see this room revealed before you, you are once again standing in the room where you awoke after your fight with Captain Vandrak.
MD, if I could help you out here. You were forced to be here last time, and now you have chosen to be here, my friend.
Oh, it's a homecoming.
Yes.
You see 3 aisles, rows of cells in front of you, each ringed with iron bars near floor to ceiling, with their single iron door set into the frame. The same cells that you had been set in before. Strangely, from here, you still hear nothing. You still see nothing. All of these cells are completely empty. You look to your right down the hall where you know the stairs should be, and you see them. This wide stone staircase that you know leads upstairs into the torture chamber. But there is nobody here. As you step out into the room, now from here, you can see something a little bit odd, Reginald. The walls around this doorway that you just came through protrude out at a strange amount from the space behind them. And MD, this room is shaped a little bit differently than what you remember. Strangely so. You kind of look around the sides of these doors on the wall to either side of you, more of this strange rough moonstone, and take a couple of steps to look around the northern end of this, and you can see there's a crease in this northern corner where the wall angles up next to the staircase. MD, you don't remember there being a wall there. You remember the walkway, you were in the middle section of cells, led all the way down to the back wall to the stairs. There was no wall here.
Can I go and inspect that area a little bit more? See if there's...
Absolutely. You can see that, there's no real roll necessary here. You can see that up around the northern end of this, where it kind of takes that corner to the back wall in front of the stairs, there's a gap there. That's not a solid corner. It's stone flush against stone, but not sealed, not tight. It's not a solid corner.
I'm trying to think, why would that throw me off?
You got a crowbar?
Because there's a gap.
So, okay.
There's a seam.
I just look at Reginald and hey, you got a crowbar in that bag of yours?
I don't think so. Do you have a crowbar?
Crowbar.
It seemed like you would carry a crowbar.
Crowbar.
Marius!
Well, no, I don't have one. I have improvised tools, so if I have something that we can use to kind of create a crowbar, then I could try to improvise one.
What do you got?
A bunch of weapons.
You got a
Bunch of weapons.
I got a pick.
You got a pick.
That's good enough as a
A
crowbar.
pick, yeah, head of a pick would be perfect. You use the head of a pick for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
A magical
That will
pick.
do. And it won't break because it's magical.
Possibly.
Yeah. So I'll improvise the tool using that to kind of make a crowbar of sorts.
Okay. So what are you trying to do with this? Just kind of wedge open.
Tell
this
me what to
corner?
do and I'll do it.
I think there's a space here, and why would I want to get into that room?
I don't know, I'm
throws
just
me
telling
off.
you
It
it's
just
weird.
Does it just
Okay.
feel?
The room
feels like a door.
This wall wasn't here before. I'm assuming it's
Right.
hollow.
Yes.
Okay.
If there's a gap there's probably something in there.
As you look at this and think back to your weeks in this prison, MD, you also do know there was a double door. There were two big stone doors down this corner of the room, but you were pretty sure they were further down. You were pretty sure they were almost up against the southern wall. The doors you just came through weren't in a different place. You think?
Okay, so it feels like a false wall or something.
Something feels weird.
So I guess I'll kind
Either
of
that, or
put.
this could just be close to the same design of another part of the prison if it's that big.
I'll kind of put the edge of the pick in, or if it's got like the flat side, I'll use the flat side of it, and then kind of have us wedge ourselves against the handle
Yeah.
to try
I'm a
to
big,
pry
strong
it free.
man.
You're at the bottom of the stairs here
I'm kind of strong.
that you think lead up to the torture chamber above, but you're starting to wonder if this really is the same room that you were in. And the three of you heaving on this, it does not move at all. Not the tiniest amount. Make me a perception check, MD.
Total of a 34.
The 34, you're looking at this trying to figure out what the heck is going on. You notice the seam in this corner is not just on the corner, it's on the floor as well. But only to this wall, on this wall to your right. Only on the southern wall, the one that's kind of adjacent to the doors you just came through.
If I go back to the small room we came through, kind of thinking back to how you compared it to an elevator, would my noticing of unusual stonework notice any disconnect like along the floor, like anything to
Noticing your
show a
unusual
divide?
stonework, Mr. Stone Cunning Man, you would notice not anything inside the actual elevator chamber, but almost all of the area outside of it. Stepping out of that, you even realize the floor of the elevator, wall flush, is a separate piece from the floor of the mess hall and the floor of the cell block. And there's a little seam there too. In fact, that seam runs all the way along the bottom of this entire section of wall on the right-hand side as you come out into the cell block.
So it kind of gives us a sense that the cell block might be moving rather than the...
It's possible this entire room moves.
This feels there's something weird with the way this is constructed. Like it
Thinking back,
seems like this floor could shift.
you could only see this side of the room when you were being taken upstairs, either alone or with Cammy. You'd heard a lot of sounds in your time here, a lot of screams, a lot of voices, a lot of the strange, aberrant song of the machinery that you still think is upstairs. But there was another that you never really identified. Every now and then, usually a few times a day, you would hear what sounded like two enormous stone slabs grinding against each other. You couldn't see what it was. It echoed up and down the halls. You couldn't even tell really where it was coming from. You just assumed it had something to do with what was happening upstairs or the constant maintenance being performed on those weird machines. Maybe it was the doors themselves, but it was a pretty odd and consistent sound.
If I might start to wander the hall a little bit more around the perimeter. If I look at the walls, do I see any, like, scratches? Kind of like what one would assume you'd see if there was the potential for two things to, like, scratch up against each other from upward or downward movement.
So you're starting to go around like the southern end of the entire cell block here, like down the southern wall.
Yeah, I think so. Kind of sneaking that way.
Yeah, as you go around, you're just kind of looking for something, looking for anything down there. You get perhaps a little startled about halfway down this aisle as you see that there is a figure in one of these cells. It is not, in fact, completely abandoned. You see an Osirian woman. An Osirian woman who is just sat on the floor, her legs folded in front of her, her hands sat, palms up on her knees, and her eyes closed. She looks almost to be napping, but very strangely upright, and she doesn't react at all when you walk into the field of view in front of the cell. She has little other than a very plain, dingy robe drawn about her body, her head shaved, and she looks gaunt, starved.
Kind of freezing up and is continuing to tiptoe and now being a little bit more careful about checking potential cells. Marius is surprised he didn't kind of notice her before getting this close.
You continue to make your way slowly, kind of picking your way down the hallway until you reach the far corner. The seam doesn't continue down the southern wall. It stops at that southeastern corner, and there's no sign of any more of it down here. As you reach the far end of the cell block, you can see the only thing that really punctuates the area that looks any different over here is that there is an iron grate on the floor on the far western side of the main hallway. A pretty wide, like 15 foot across, like sewer grate that's kind of set into the wall. Looks like just a huge drain.
Great.
And with your noticing unusual stone cutting, you would notice that there is a very, very, very minor slope in the whole cell block towards the stream.
I want to walk down the center aisle.
Avoid any puddles near that drain.
Reginald, now just looking around, walks down the center aisle down between these two rows of cells. And where are you, MD? Are you following either of them, or?
You take the north side and wall back into each
Yeah,
other.
yeah. I'd go north.
You look around the north end. Reginald, as you make your way down the middle, you just kind of look through these various abandoned cells, seeing the conditions that MD and Cammy had told you about, the places they had been left, what little they had had themselves. Little more than a single bucket in each of these, but all of them abandoned. And MD on the northern end here, a hallway you'd never really been to, Looks probably much the same as you would expect. You walk your way down, seeing more cells, each identical to the ones that you and Cammy had been trapped in. Each abandoned as well.
Is there somewhere in
Until
this... Oh, God.
you reach nearly the very end of the hall, in the second to last of these cells, where you see a woman curled up in the corner, her head in her hands, very dark raven black hair, disheveled, swept across one side of her face, and a big scar cutting down through one of her eyebrows. Her pale skin and pale blue eyes, dark hair, give her a very decidedly chellish look. But she sits almost just like softly rocking in the corner. And she sees you come around the corner and she shrivels up further and starts almost hyperventilating a little bit, trying to shy as far away from the door as she can.
Low tone MD's gonna crouch down a little bit. It's okay. I was here too.
She looks up past your hands. Who are you?
My name's MD. Who are you?
And at that, as she scrambles on her hands and knees over up to the bars and just grabs one of the bars right in front of you, pressing her face up against them. Please, please, you have to help me. Please.
Okay. You have to help me first.
Anything.
Are the demon women still here?
Yes, I haven't come down today, but I'm sure they'll be here soon. Please.
Okay. I let out a little whistle to the others.
Okay.
I think I would have probably started to hear her. I would have kind of at least come.
This would be the first. You would hear this. She's not exactly being quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would all hear this voice kind of echo through it, and quickly you would see.
As I was walking through though before, I would want to just scan to see if there's a place to like release prisoners or release cell blocks or something. If I
Nothing
just
that you
noticed anything
saw.
like that.
No,
Okay.
if each door has a lock, but like a key, it's
Got it.
you have to pick them all individually. You would, I assume, see Marius and Reginald coming around the corners towards you as she's up against the bars here. And then as she sees Reginald come around, she looks a little confused and scared. As she sees Marius, she screams and scrambles back into the back of her cell again and
calm.
just starts panting and crying.
Yeah.
Please, please, he's one of them. He's one of them. Please, what is this?
No, he's not.
No, it's just
No, he's not. He's just ugly. Leave him alone. He's sensitive about it.
I've never seen his kind anywhere but here. He works for them. He's one of them. He's part of the prison. Please.
I'd probably walk back around the corners just because I want her
she's
to be
quite hectic.
quieter.
She's quite hectic. We need to.
I'm gonna
Oh God! Oh God!
try.
Oh God!
Hey,
Oh God!
lady, can you shut up for a second? I'm gonna try to get you out. The lock is a normal lock.
The door to the cell itself just has a normal.
I looked
You
at these
can-
locks a lot.
You can just
Hold
pick
on.
it.
Yeah.
Before you quickly do that, ma'am, if we let you out, I need you to lower your voice. Okay?
She's had it worse than
Please
we
just
did.
please don't let them take me again. Please don't let me.
Okay. All right.
I'm picking the lock.
And as you start to pick this lock, the individual cell locks are not terribly difficult. Something like at your level, I'm not even going to make you roll for this. They are very much more traditional, simple key mechanisms. But you never have anything to try. And besides, you've seen the guards. What would matter if they did?
Yeah.
In a matter of moments, you hear the clatch, the clank of the iron latch, and the creak of the hinges as the door swings free.
Do you have any food?
No.
This woman looks just like the one that Marius would have walked by. Very, very malnourished. Her cheeks are sunken, and she looks a lot worse than she does in this picture here. She looks like she's pretty close to the edge of starvation.
Should have grabbed food. I didn't even think about that. Stupid. Okay, what is it you want to know?
Oh, the women, the guards are still here. They're still active. They haven't come for her today, so they should be coming any minute, any hour.
If she's out, they're going to immediately take care of her. Not even keep her as a prisoner anymore, but they would.
I don't know about that. Knock her out, throw her back in.
I don't know if she can withstand being knocked out.
Please, you have to have a way out of here. Hadn't you come in? There must be. Is there a way clear? Like, please, just if you could take me out of here before they return.
We can take you to the kitchen.
We can take you back to the kitchen.
That's about as far as we can get.
What if they find? What if they find? Well, what if you stay?
I plan on killing them.
You can't. It's impossible. They're devils. They're devils. They're powerful devils. I know an Aeons and Anila. I don't even know the third. I don't recognize it. These are soldiers of hell. You can't fight them.
Yes, we can.
I can. Whatever they did to you.
Why did you say I?
Whatever they did to you, they did to me as well.
Did you know? Did you know how hopeless it is? Asmodeus' own soldiers here for some perverse reason. Please, we have to leave. They cannot be fought.
You can get any information out of her.
Please, I'll tell you anything. I'll tell you anything. Just if you'll take me from here, I'll tell you anything you want.
Yeah, we can easily do that. Yes, we could. Well, we can only take you over to the kitchen, and then you could just wait there to make sure if everything's up. We actually trapped ourselves in here. Why am I telling you this? That's just gonna create more hysteria. Nothing. So, when did they feed you last time?
Days. I don't know.
And you were tortured yesterday, I'm guessing?
I bring us up there almost every day. I don't know how many are left. I don't see anyone else in the cells. I don't hear anyone. No one's saying anything!
Okay, shh. You also shouldn't be talking so loud. Because if we get caught, then we have less control over the situation. What are we trying to get out of this, lady?
Oh, not knowing that tortures doesn't come down here. The stairs, they lead up
Actually-
to the torture room, right?
Yes.
It's the same.
Upstairs.
Actually, to be honest with you, maybe something that might be the smartest. Why don't we just keep your door unlocked, but won't you stay in here until we clear this place? Because if you are just wandering about and then you get found, but if you're in here,
There's like no guards.
They haven't come through here in some time. They used to walk the halls pretty frequently. They used to feed us. They changed the buckets occasionally, cleaned the house, but no one's been through. They only come down to take us upstairs. I don't know what's happened.
Right.
where are you from?
Cheliax.
And how did you get sent here?
I was captured by a group of slavers here in. I presume this is still the Dreamlands.
Are you not originally from the Dreamlands?
No, I'm Chelish!
Does she have the collar on
She
her?
does. She would have one of the
Oh,
collars on.
cool. Come here. You have that collar on you.
Yes, I don't know what they do.
They stop you from waking up or leaving.
What?
We actually projected ourselves here.
No, I'm here. I traveled here. The
also
signifiers brought me here. I'm physically here. This is no
she
projection.
that lady that what's his face was looking for when we were in the giant forest?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
AJ the person?
Out of character. I forget her name.
Did he tell you anything about other than he was looking for a lady? He said he was looking for a lady named Kelvetta Bricks, but I don't know if he told you anything about her.
But she was, I think he said it was from Cheliax?
Yes.
Yeah. Your name, I say her name. I don't.
Kelvetta?
Yeah.
Yes?
Oh, cool. You're big game hunting in the Dreamlands?
Yes, you've heard of me. Yes, the Hell Knights brought me here. The signifiers wove some spell and we stepped through a portal. I'm physically here. I'm not asleep. This is no projection. I don't know magic.
What do you know? You good with a bow? Knives, swords?
I've hunted
Apparently,
for sport.
she's only brave if she's hunting things that don't fight back.
Oh.
They fight back, but I usually have my retainers with me.
Yeah. And when she close the door. You're safer in here than you are out there with us.
It's true. We can come back for you.
Please, my house through, please don't leave me here. Please, you have to let me out. I don't know the way.
I really wish I had some food for the lady. Did we see any food in the kitchen when we were back there?
And whether it's her panicked shouting or just shuffling around or just, something about the room. You feel Cammy start to kind of stir on your back.
You woke up the gnome.
And it is here that we will end our adventures for today.
Hey, we found her.
Hey, you found that's the lady that Nestor Bindley was talking about.
Close the door.
Wait, who was that?
She's a poacher.
She's an interdimensional chellish
Was I here?
poacher.
Was I here for
No.
this? Oh, okay, cool. I was like, wait, am I supposed to know who this person is?
You know that
recently?
one, that
Oh, you
one
didn't
really
study?
cool guy that we met at the Druid Circle that gave us a bunch of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was looking for her in the dreams. That guy.
Yeah, Shaggy.
Shaggy.
Yeah. Okay. And so he did mention her.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
mentioned her briefly offhand, but they talked a little more when they first met about her.
Oh, got it.
That was the
That
reason
was
that
so long ago.
so long ago.
It was like 30 episodes ago.
That was the reason he told them that he was in the Dreamlands, is he was trying to hunt her down and stop her.
'Cause she's a
because
poacher.
She's a poacher. She's an interdimensional poacher. And she is taking, like, unique, like, center pins of ecosystems out to mount as trophies in her lodge.
Oh, it's a good thing I wasn't here for this. I would have been definitely.
You also were not here for this. Only MD knows who Calvetta is.
Yeah, and then
But-
he literally just close the door and lock it back. We'll be back. I promise.
Who's the other prisoner, though?
I don't know.
Shrug.
Well, Marius Sanchez.
I don't think Marius told us.
I mean,
Marius
I
didn't
haven't
say
really,
anything about a second prisoner yet.
I haven't really had the opportunity to see you in a
You-
way that wouldn't be loud.
That's fair. You kind of got pulled over here. You got a little bit distracted by Calvetta. But when we return next week
I'll
in the
forget about that
year
next week. Who knows?
2025.
Future.
See you next year.
Ah,
I had this conversation with a coworker like last week before Christmas because we were looking at the schedules. Like, I'm literally not going to see you until next year.
we will continue our adventures through the Black Shores facility. There's definitely something odd happening in here. You haven't passed a single guard. Your tremor sense, even through the walls, has not found a single figure. There are 2 prisoners in this entire cell block, and it doesn't even seem like they're bothering to feed or take care of them anymore.
Security in this prison sucks. Work conditions in this prison suck.
Something
ghoul.
is clearly.
One ghoul.
There was one ghoul outside.
Yeah.
I doubled the
It was
quantity
like,
of
listen,
ghouls.
man, we take it or leave it. All right, what, man?
This is a very different prison than the one that you were locked in, MD.
I hate time shenanigans.
At least a very different situation. And maybe next week, next Sunday afternoon, 3
Sunday,
p.m.
Sunday,
Eastern, you might figure out a little more about what that is. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for being here. Stay safe. Stay safe.
Bye bye.